welcome back to another video. So, this is my M3 Lee. It's just been released on the workshop. There will be a link below there. So this video is just going to be a little bit of a operation video. I'm going to show you how it works, some of its functions, as well as talk about something that I plan to do with it in the future as well. So, to get started, you might notice something a little bit off right over there. You'll see I'm actually putting in some modded blocks. These will not be in the workshop version, not yet at least. I'll release as a separate mod pack that you can download with Stormworks mod loader. So in the future I do plan to make a lot of the parts in this vehicle, of course modded. That being the turret basket, some of the viewports, machine guns, etc. And there's a couple inside that I'll show you a little sneak peek, but nothing's really ready right now. Of course, you can see all that progress in my Discord. That'll be in the description as well. So, with that out of the way, let's get started. So, exterior. It's an M30 Lee. All the hatches, as I should mention, are manual. So, this hatch has to stay open just because, you have to come back here to pre-crank it anyway. I'll get to that later, though. So all the manual hatches, they should have a button around the middle, which you can press, and then pull them open with the handle, and then hop inside. Let's close that. So, M3 Lee, essentially a stopgap in World War II. It was supplied to the British. They didn't really like it, but it worked. It worked for their purposes. It worked well. Had two good guns. 37mm was pretty good at penetrating, and also had a canister shot. Pretty good for dealing with infantry. 75, of course, is good anti-tank and or anti-bunker, and anything else you need to use for it. And you notice on the 75mm there is a little bit of a counterweight, is what it is. Both the 37 and 75mm are stabilized, so I'll get to that later when we get to the inside. But yeah, they're both stabilized. It's a pretty simple system, but yeah. Moving on, exterior features, just basic detail. I do have your convoy lights. There's actually a paint indicator right here. This is just to get the shape down, so at night you're not going to be able to see those spotlights anyway. So, yeah. Moving up top, of course you have the 75mm in the hull, and then you have your driver's port. There's some more modded blocks there. And of course, we're now on the top. So you have the 37mm here. There would have been a counterweight that would go right along here. Of course, because of space, though, I didn't put it in. You also have your 30 cal machine gun and another 30 cal up top here for the commander's cupola. You also have mounting points right here in the hull. When the weapons DLC comes out, I might put them in the hull. I'm not sure. And then, of course, the trigger function that was up or put in an update, you can use to actually do that and fire them. So up top you have the gunner sight, which is a periscope with a little telescopic sight to one side. Of course you have the 37mm turret, and you also have this hatch here for the loader. So that's really it. Rear deck, you have some tools here, and the main vent that goes down to the radial 9-cylinder. And that's really it, so guess we'll just hop inside. So we're in the commander's seat. He has a nice view of the singular periscope in front. Of course, this cupola would actually rotate, and then of course you have the 30 cal. I don't have it at the moment to do that, just because of space. Moving on from there, we have the gunner seat. Go in there. Gunner seat, pretty basic. Nothing really to do here except for aim the gun. When the weapons DLC comes out, I will of course add a touchscreen function to actually fire the gun when you click the middle, or press E on the middle. So basic controls, basically E to basically push in the direction you want to go. So if I want to go right, I hit the right side of the screen. If I want to go left, I hit the left side of the screen. If I want to go up, I go to the top part of the screen. If I want to go down, to the bottom part of the screen. I want to go up and to the right, I can hit the top corner there. Or if I want to go down and left, I can hit that button. And that's really it for that. Of course, when the weapons DLC comes out, I'll probably mod the parts just to give them a little look to what they should actually be on the N3 Lee, or at least on the mod version. Probably not on the unmodded version, of course. But yeah, that's really it for the gunner seat, loader seat. Pretty basic. Of course, I have some more of my modded parts here, the M1919. It's got some little graphical glitches, but that will be fixed. I need to make it less poly. A lot of my earlier models are very high poly. Later ones aren't as much high poly. So, might have to redesign this thing, or not. I don't know. Keep it, whatever. Loader seat, not much. The turret basket is missing. Or, still there, but there was supposed to be like a little sheet metal all around, so you can't really see anything apart from the other side of the turret. There will also be a bunch of 37mm rounds, which are of course modded and located right here. Of course, this model needs to be polyed down a little bit. There's a new version, so I'll get that out to you when the mod version actually comes out. And that is actually a paint error. That should all be black. I'll fix that. So that's really for the loader seat. Nothing really much to do. Ammunition right there, and we'll move over to the loader seat. Of course, there's a little more ammo rack there. Now on the loader seat, of course, you have more 37mm and your 75mm. The 75mm is not modded, of course, but that's not really the purpose of this video. Little grease gun in the back, because why not? So, loader seat, again, not much to do. You have 3 ways of escape if the tank is ever on fire. You can go out the top hatch, the bottom hatch, which opens like so, and you can close it if you need to. It's kind of hard to get out of because of the height of the tank. And of course, you have the side hatch as well, which you can open, of course. And then the top hatch, of course, is there as well. Fire extinguisher is available to you in case something goes wrong. Fuel tank to your left, and this is the gauge for it. So that's really for the loader seat. We'll move over to the gunner seat. So, gunner seat, he has control of the 75mm gun. You can use, again, the touchscreen on the screen to actually move the gun left and right, and up and down. Not going to go over the operation of that, of course, since you've already seen it. And that's really it for that. Move over to the driver's seat. Driver's seat is not ready yet. There's one more thing you have to do before you can actually get started, so I'll get back to that. The radio operator, or co-driver, however you want to call him. Not much use. The radio, like in a lot of my tanks, don't actually work. Mainly because I just never bothered to actually make them work, and, you know, radio in multiplayer is kind of bad anyway, so there's really no point in doing that. But the radio operator does have access to a periscope that just looks forward, and that's really it. So, for actually starting the tank, of course, at the back here, there, it's a little bit cramped. There is a auxiliary generator. This operates at 3600 RPM and just basically allows you to recharge the batteries. Of course, Stormworks alternators are trash, at least for the modular ones. So this doesn't really generate much power, and that's really it for that part. So we'll move outside. Now, because it's a radial engine, what will happen is when you have it stopped, all of the oil in the crankcase will seep down into the bottom cylinder, and if you do not clear it out, it will cause hydrostatic lock, and then your engine basically explodes. Not really, but yeah, it breaks, and that's not something you want in a battle. So we can open up the service hatches if it had electricity. So, pre-crank, I'll fix that later, but basically, yeah, it's a hatch. Let's see a look inside. So, pre-crank, you want to do this about 20 times. Of course, the number is less than 20 of what you actually need to get the tank started, but I'm not going to tell you that. Find out on your own, or just look at my microcontroller. Get that cranked up. And that should be it. Ooh, look at that track tensioner. Beautiful. Alright. Back to the side hatch. Hop in the gunner's seat, and then go through this little gap here is what I've found the best way to actually get in and out. Close that hatch, and into the driver's seat. So, fuel cutoff. You're going to engage that. Magneto 1 and 2. These are your alternators. Hit the booster, and then these start. Now, of course, the engine will rev up to 400 RPM. It is not started yet. You're going to quickly tap W, just to give it some gas and get it up to going to 800 RPM. If you want to adjust the idle speed, you can do the hand throttle out or in. Let's put that back to 800 RPM though. Some more of the gauges. You do have your headlights, which you can turn on. Convoy light, like I said, at the back there. You have a clock, engine hours. This tells you how long the engine has been running in minutes. Compass is non-functional. I couldn't really find out a good way to actually make that work and accurate with the small dial. Oil temperature, oil pressure, speedometer, volts, and bridge, and tachometer. Other than that, you do have the ability to open and close the driver's hatch, so you can get a good view of the world outside. And why is it raining? I do not know. So, to the right is the gear shifter. In front are the two steering tillers that all work, of course. So, the handbrake to your left is going to be disengaged with this button here. You'll see if it's engaged, it'll be up, and then if it's disengaged, it'll be down. To change the gears, you're going to hit 1 and 2 on your top number pad. And then you can also do it manually if you hit these two buttons here. Gas pedal, of course, is on your right, and clutch pedal is on your left. Now to actually get the tank started, what you're going to do is you're going to hold down the down arrow. This takes clutch pressure off of the engine, so nothing's engaged. I can then hit the 1 key. Of course, that has to get some gas at the same time. It's hard to push the top. So basically now we're in gear 1. And we can accelerate it so. That's the first gear. So I can hit the down arrow again. Do that again to get us into gear 3. Of course, the tillers, batteries, and do it again. And that is the basic operation of the driver's position. The hand throttle does not work at speed. Of course, just because of the way I have it set up. But yeah, that's really it. If you ever need to put the engine in neutral for whatever reason, you can hit 3. And that'll reset you to neutral so you don't kill the engine in case you have to brake or anything. And for braking, of course, it's just hit S when you brake. Of course, try and put it in neutral or downshift. Along, and we want to brake in 3, and then hit the S key, and that will brake the tank. Now, like I said, there is stabilization for the turret. We'll see if I actually get moving. See the gun actually start shifting a little bit. Gear 4 is really the only gear you can be in. It will try, it's not great, but it will get you to actually stabilize the gun. If I were to put the trim a little bit and go into the seat, see every time we hit a bump, the gun will actually try and adjust itself and try and make it as above 15 to 16 miles per hour, this will stop working. It'll still stabilize the gun, but it's going to be a little bit more erratic, and so any small movements are going to move the gun more. So it jumps up a little bit just because of the threshold. It's based on speed, so of course the lower you're going, the less erratic it's going to be. It's not actually being stabilized right now, it's kind of just flopping around. Then goes for the 370 mil up top. Doesn't actually seem to be going for some reason. I'll go take a look at that later. But that's really the basic operation of the M3 Lead. We'll see if we can ship